This is part 2 of Easy Peasy Jams. And in part 2, we're going to cover the pineapple upside down jam. And the raspberries are still reducing. And so we're just going to do the pineapple now because it's ready now. Okay, so it's been about an hour all told. You just want to get it all the way reduced to the flavor that you want and something thick enough that it's going to be able to kind of cohere. Now, I will say, with the pineapple, I guess I haven't done pineapple by itself before. I've done pineapple with other fruits that must have some natural pectin. The pineapple seems to not really have that. But that's okay. We're still, you're just going to think of this as a canned, put it on the shelf and leave it product. So it's ready for whenever you need it, right? So it's not like a huge deal if it doesn't get all jelly. The other ones will, but this one may not, but it's still delicious. So that's what matters. So for the pineapple upside down jam, you want to add quite a bit of nutmeg. For that amount of pineapple, which was 2 pounds of frozen pineapple chunks that we reduced down with about 1.5 cups of evaporated organic cane sugar. Then we added nutmeg in quite a bit of it, actually about 2/3 of a cup. Now mine was a little bit old. So if you have newer, probably 1/3 of a cup would be fine. But I mean, you want it to be a pretty concentrated hint of that. And believe it or not, it just needs that much. It just does. So then we've added some orange peel or any kind of citrus peel that you like, because I often add grapefruit peel, but I didn't to the pineapple because that would make kind of two flavors that are not going to end up super sweet in the cooked form. So this is what I do anytime I am finishing up with citrus. I dehydrate the peel and then I just put it in here. I have a bunch more of these actually. This one is a mixed one because I often actually use mixed citrus peel. And what the citrus peel does in this kind of format is it's going to candy, kind of like a marmalade. You just break it up into whatever size piece you want to, or just leave it whole or whatever. And it will candy in there. It makes a really nice flavor. And going from the dehydrated state, that will pick up and kind of reactivate those volatile oils. Whereas if you were to put something fresh in there, it would kill off those volatile oils pretty fast because they're in a more live state. This way you're having to kind of reactivate them. And so that boiling is not such a big deal for them. Okay. And then the final thing that we do in this, because it's a pineapple upside down cake flavor, you've got the cake itself often has a vanilla flavor to it. And then the pineapple has the cherries with it and the almond extract flavor. So we put a little bit of both in here, about a capful of almond extract. And then that amount, my bottle of vanilla is actually larger. So the capful is actually larger. So I didn't put that whole capful, but that smaller capful version of almond extract. So it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon of each one. You want to put those in kind of at the tail end. So I just put those in just a few minutes ago. And I'm going to mix this up here. Just give it one more stir, but don't leave it too long here. I'm just going to give it this final stir, make sure everybody's playing nice. And this is what it looks like right now. It's pretty brown at this point. But what I'm going to do, and we're going to work real fast here, okay? So I'm over here. I've got my funnel, a jam funnel in itty-bitty jars. And the reason I'm using itty-bitty jars, I've just recently started doing it this way, but I love it. And I'm going to work real fast here, and then I'll talk to you in between. The reason I'm using little bitty jars is because a lot of us, we open jam and we can't eat it before it is done, before it gets a little mold on it or something. So we don't want that. And I thought, I could fix that whole problem. So that's what we're going to do. This is a little too full, so I'm going to fix that real quick. And then once I have fixed that, I'm going to do these actually one at a time. And it's a little bit, I know it's a little bit annoying to have to do that, but I'm going to tell you the reason we're doing it that way. The reason is because then we don't have to cook the jars in any way. So I've just wiped that off. I'm going to make sure that it's dry on the top so it'll give me a good seal. And then I'm going to close that up real good. And actually, I should not have my glove on. Let me do that. But you have to work kind of fast here because you need the steam to close that up, okay? This is real tight now. And now I'm going to store it this way. And what that's going to do is as this cools, it's going to pull that seal upward. And then we're going to end up with a good seal. And we didn't have to do any ridiculous, canning rituals or anything. So I'm going to just put that in the sink. The sink is clean, so it's a good time to do that. And we're just going to keep going. This is a small group of them. And what I do here is I'll put it in here from, there we go. I put 6 little jars onto a plate because that's how I know how much I'm going to use, okay? Oops, that's the wrong one. And I want my good clean jar lid. And you're going to put it in there. You're going to just let it do its thing, okay? But this is why it has to be real hot and why you got to do it one at a time. You got to do it when this is pretty darn hot in order for it to work. What I'm going to do here is just keep this on the heat a little bit. And this will be even easier with the raspberry because that will stay really piping hot. That'll have more pectin to it. It's also easier to put these in here. With the bigger jars, you really have to use a ladle. With these little jars, just a regular old spatula, kind of what fits on it is about that much of what will fit in the jar comfortably. Remember, you want to leave a little bit of space on the top. That's important. It's less important on the pineapple one because it's not going to change shape quite as much. But it is going to be important with the raspberry one that has the pectin. So, okay. I am still using the funnel, though, even though I'm not using the ladle. Okay. Okay. And I just got out as many jars as I want to use for this particular batch. This is a small batch. And I'm just going to use these six. I only bought one flat of these this afternoon, and I'm almost out of them otherwise. And so what I'm doing is just doing 6 of these, and I'm going to do 6 of the raspberry, and then we're going to call that good. And then I'll have, exactly 12, and that will be fine. I'll explain to you the other reason I do these smaller ones here in a second. I got my last one here. It's a real small batch. And it's fine if the last one goes in a big one if you want. If you have a family, you may want to have the last one be a big 8-ounce jar. But for me, since I am a single person, and sometimes I can eat the whole thing right away, but sometimes I really don't, then you want to really be aware of what's going to happen to it after that. And what happens to it after that often is it just, kind of molds. So you don't want any of that, right? Don't want that. I'm going to close this one up. Okay. So we got this 6th one. I've turned it over. You can put it back on the plate if you want to, or wherever. It can just cool wherever. It's not a big deal. And then we will label that just with a black Sharpie when we get done. You can label it with a metallic one, but it doesn't come off. It won't come off for you in the same way, and you might need to relabel at some point. The black Sharpie is great because it'll stay on there as long as you want, but when you're ready to wash it and reuse that lid, you really can, as long as it's still a good one. So I'll show you how we're doing with the, we have like 1.5 bites left of the pineapple. So that'll just be fun. And then we have the raspberry coming right along here. It smells really good. I have it with some ginger. I also put a couple of candied ginger in the pineapple one. You can do that or not do it, whatever. Oh, and then at the end, actually, I did put a good tablespoon and a half of dry ginger in there. But you can do it, you know, fresher or more spicy, you know, whatever you like. So in part 3, we will cover the raspberry. But now you know how to just can real easily. And if it doesn't go right, you'll know because the lid will not go all the way down. It'll still pop up for you. And that'll just be the one that you put in the fridge instead of one that you give away or put up in your pantry. So, you know, there's no danger there. Just be common sensey about it. So hope that's helpful. And we'll be back when it's time to do the raspberry.